Well, let's talk about air travel. Last weekend, that weekend after Thanksgiving, typically the busiest time of year for Syracuse Hancock Airport, and that still holds true, but in a pandemic, busy takes on a whole different meaning. Julia LeBlanc is now live at Hancock. So, Julia, first of all, what's the normal crowd on a regular Thanksgiving weekend like?
Well, Dan, the director of the airport tells us that during Thanksgiving week and that weekend, they typically see about 5,400 passengers per day. Now, this time around, unfortunately, they only saw about 1,700 passengers per day, which is actually the busiest they've been since March, since the start of all of this throughout the pandemic. Now, the director of the airport tells us that's because people are actually heeding the warnings. They're not traveling, but that's also not so great for business. Jason Terreri tells us they're still booking flights, but they're seeing the airlines bring in smaller planes since they're not filling up the bigger ones. For what they're losing in flights, though, they are somewhat making up for in rental car numbers, which are up. Still, Syracuse Airport has not made any layoffs. They've committed to that since the start of the pandemic. Airlines themselves, though, are cutting back on staffing.
All the airports, including Syracuse, we have to provide a safe environment in a healthy, sanitized environment and make people feel comfortable traveling. So that's really how we balance it. If people need to travel, our job is to make it as clean and as comfortable as we can.
Now, Terreri says the market itself, the airline market, is doing pretty well right now, still despite what's going on, or in light of what's going on, it's doing better than they thought it would. He says the vaccine, he believes, will definitely help numbers here. Live at the Syracuse Airport, Julia LeBlanc, News Channel 9.